Hello, my beautiful friends. Welcome to Mind Body Heals podcast. My name is Trudy, your very own personal coach, master hypnotherapist, and a physical therapist. And I want to thank you all for sharing and subscribing to my videos. It really means a lot to me. Today, we're going to talk about what to do when conflict arises. I'll show you some tips and tricks on how to keep your cool and respond but not react. And you're going to be able to use those skills, your tips and tricks in your daily life starting today. Maybe at home with your spouse or with your kids or at work. And it's so important during this time of uncertainty. That sounds interesting, doesn't it? Well, if you want to learn more, keep watching.
This is the Mind Body Heals podcast, where Trudy provides tips and stories to help you improve your well-being and reach your objectives. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and leave us some comments.
Due to COVID-19, we all have felt a little uneasy in our lives. We're so stuck doing things that we don't really like, we don't really appreciate. We're not able to do things that we really want to do. And we all have felt a little uneasy in our bodies, maybe in our chest, in our minds, in our hearts, or even in our bodies. And it brings out the worst in us. We're a little bit more cranky. We're a bit more irritated with our loved ones. And I want to talk about what you can do starting today. One of the most commonly asked questions that I get in my practice is what to do when somebody just changes their behavior in a negative way. Or, if you want to say in a simple term, if somebody just blows up on your face. Well, there are no right or wrong answers. However, whatever you decide, you will have to face the consequences of your behavior. Let me give you an example of a family having a tiff with each other. A mother named Susan has been telling her son Mark to do his homework, and she has already told him nicely 5 to 6 times, and then he didn't want to listen. So she loses her cool and she starts to yell. And then she tells him things that he doesn't want to hear. So Mark blows up and he starts to yell back. And he gets so upset, and then he goes in that teenager rage. Then he slams on the door, and then he leaves his home and thinking that I cannot wait to get out of this mom's strict rules. And that's really, really harsh, doesn't it? Yep. They both can justify their anger. However, they both are not willing to look at each other and look at other person's perspective. They both don't want to see the other person's side. And then what can happen? The bickering may stop at one point in time. However, with continuous bickering, one person will eventually run out of energy and then they will stop fighting. So the external fighting will stop at one point in time. However, the inner fighting will still prevail. And they both will think that the other person doesn't have understanding of each other. So, for example, Mark may think in this case that my mom is so pathetic. And she really doesn't know what he needs. The only thing that she really cares is about his homework, and that's it. She doesn't really care. And Susan, on the other hand, thinks that this younger generation, they do not know how to respect their parents. They do not want to listen, and I know Mark doesn't love me. So this vicious cycle of feeling will keep going and keep going because external fighting has stopped, but the inner conflict is still going. So Mark feels so irritated and frustrated, and so is Susan. She feels angry. She has no control over Mark, and they both are feeling exactly the same way. As similar events happen continuously, our subconscious mind will solidify into a belief. Mark will think that my mom doesn't love me, and Susan will think that Mark does not care. Now, any point in time, if Mark actually shows a genuine love for Susan, she will have a block from her side. She will think that no, Mark is not really capable of loving her. So what she will do, she will completely push him away, and same goes for Mark. So now they are growing miles away from each other. And that's exactly what happens until somebody decides to make a difference in their own behavior. It's completely understandable that we're not open to anybody's criticism, especially during this time of uncertainty. However, it's very, very important that we must challenge ourselves and we must open ourselves to somebody else's perspective, because that will bring growth in us. You don't really have to agree with that person. However, when you actually open yourselves up to other person's perspective, the dynamic of the relationship changes. And by this approach, we can grow from within, simultaneously respecting each other. So for example, when Susan had asked Mark to do his homework, she should have been strong, however, not intimidating. She should have been authoritarian, however, Mark should not have felt that he's stupid and incapable in that process. So ask yourself a question in this, that are you talking to somebody? You can justify your anger. However, at the same time, you're making the other person feel so little, incapable, and not worthwhile. Then you're doing something wrong. And the same way, Mark should have realized that the reason why my mom is telling me over and over, because she is telling me out of an intent of his growth. And she loves me, and that is the reason why she's asking me to do things over and over. So when two people understand each other, and when things really come out of love and respect instead of anger and frustrations, the dynamic changes on its own. I'll throw you a challenge. You try to have respect and love for somebody, and you try to yell. You will not be able to yell at that person. However, when you are frustrated about something completely different, or you're frustrated with that person, and you try to keep your tone calm and cool, you cannot do it. Isn't that true? So going forward, I request you to assess your behavior and your words. Challenge yourself. Challenge yourself to communicate more effectively with your loved ones, and with an intent and a positive intent. So when conflict arises, you know how to look at other person's perspective with love and respect instead of fear, frustration, and anger. Because your communication can make or break your relationships. And this way you can make your bond much, much, much stronger. And please don't forget to share and subscribe. And if you have any comments or any feedback for me, please do not hesitate to leave a comment down below. And please let me know if you have any questions or you need a solution, because this channel is all about you and what I can do to help you improve your life. So, till next time, my friend, this is Trudy saying bye.
Did you like today's show? Leave us some comments and hit that subscribe button. Follow Trudy on Twitter at icoachhypnosis. Be sure to visit icoachhypnosis.com to gain more insight on how Trudy can help you achieve your life objectives. Want to listen to Trudy on the go? You can download the podcast from the store of your choice. Search for Mind Body Heals. Interested in supporting Trudy and the podcast? We welcome any donation as low as $1. Visit icoachhypnosis.com/donate.